Tried to get a haircut today. Went to Super Clips or something like that. Yeah, $35. They did okay. She did all right. All right, so this isn't going to be a 2 hour long, you know, video. This is going to be, I don't know. I'm gonna try to keep it to a half an hour or so because you guys don't listen to all of it, and I don't get any super chat money out of this, so there's no need for me to stay on any longer than a few minutes. I want to say, I just want to give my opinion about the school shooting. I told you I would say more once I found out more, and we still don't know everything. What we do know is, some of my questions, some of our questions have been answered. One was, why did that kid go to that school when he was bullied at high school? Why didn't he go to the high school? Why did he go to the elementary school? And the reason is, he planned on going to the elementary school. What's going on, Star? I'm doing fine. How are you? He's about to call me. Well, he planned on going to the elementary school. This is what we found out. We also know that he had two assault rifles. So there's that. Because at first I didn't know. I thought he had a handgun and an assault rifle. He bought two assault rifles. Then he shot his grandmother and continued to the school. Um, we do know that his mom and dad, they both loved him. You know, so, there's that. He was living with his grandmother, so they weren't completely out the picture. We know the dad had some things to say, but I didn't listen to it. The teacher who he shot, she was married for like 25 years to her husband. Her husband just died of a heart attack. What he died from was a broken heart. When people write songs about dying from a broken heart, this guy actually died from a broken heart. Yeah. They had like four kids together. So he lost the love of his life and he couldn't take it anymore. And he died from a broken heart. And we know that this happens in couples who are soulmates through and through, not no corny love song soulmates, like real soulmates. When one passes, the other one passes shortly after that. And it wasn't like they were old, they were my age, so he could have lived a lot longer, if his wife was still alive, but he died of a broken heart. And she died protecting her, 10-year-old students. We hear accounts of students that were there and have firsthand account. And this is one thing that we did know that we didn't know before. We know that he locked himself in that room with those kids. And this is what brings me to the disgust of the police. So the police get there, and we saw a video where the police were stopping people from running into the building, and they should have. His grandfather claimed he would have turned him in if he knew what. Of course he would have. Of course he would have. But this kid was announcing. He was announcing once again what he was going to do on social media. Wait until you hear the kids screaming or something like that. Somebody's going to be sorry, blah, blah, blah. He was putting this on social media. But the police were stopping people from going into the building, which they should have stopped people from going into the building, but they were more concentrated on not going into the building because there was an active shooter. And people are disgusted about that. They're like, wait a minute, this is what you're here for. You are a police man or woman. You have the equipment to go in and stop active shooters, but we're listening to one of the police officers says, yeah, we didn't, the police They didn't know where this guy was, which is fair. They said, uh, you know, when they went in there, they didn't know what they were facing. This is also fair. They said, but when they did find out that where the guy was, they said, they had to worry about being shot, which is also fair. You have to worry about being shot, but nonetheless, you are a police officer. You have tactical gear for this. And then the police officer said, we contained him to that room. This is what hurts. That hurts. That hurts. For one, you didn't contain him at all. You didn't contain him to the room. That's not what you did. That's not what you did at all. You didn't say, oh, we contained him. Because he didn't come out of that room and kill other students, that's what you're trying to say. We stopped him from going to kill other students. None of that's not what happened. What happened was he went in there, he went into a classroom, and he barricaded the door behind him. He had no intentions on coming out of there. He did not. He went in there, barricaded the door, and then he started killing kids and teachers. That's what happened. You didn't go there and stop him from doing anything. You didn't stop him. You killed him afterwards because he shot a couple of you. So you killed him. But the initial killings of what was going on, the people were like, go in there and stop this guy from killing. Go in there and get him. But the police did not do that initially. And then a police officer said, yeah, when the police did go in there, they said they went in there looking for their children. Now, listen, if I was a police officer, I feel you on going and looking for your kid. However, you are a public servant. If you're going in there just to look for your child, even though I completely understand the motivation, but that's your only look. If that's the case, and you're not the first person there, then there's going to be more and more kids killed, waiting on the police who are outside trying to stop the people from going inside to try to get a hold of their kids. And that's basically the way it looks right now. And I get it. You don't want people going in there and mucking up an operation. However, if you're not initially going in there while the gunshots are going off, then where are we at? Now we're thinking there are some kids who could have lived if you would have went in there and stopped those children initially. Because I guarantee you, the men and women, mostly men, who are on the police force that went in there looking for their children, they weren't the first ones there. They were not the first people in that door. They were not the first police officers to respond. I guarantee you they weren't. Guarantee you. And I told you guys before, I said, there's something going on with this kid. This was planned. This kid zigged instead of zagged. He didn't go to the high school. He went to the middle school. Why? He had a purpose. And now we found out that and we're finding out more, which I still think there's more to this. We're finding out the kid went and shot those kids because those were the children of the border police. This is something that has come from their country. I guarantee you, once the feds keep digging into this, they're going to find out that this whole thing took place because of something that's going on in their country. I guarantee you, I told you, this kid didn't go in there looking for white kids, black kids. He went there looking for specific kids. He locked himself in that room. What shooter has gone into a school and has done just that? None that I've ever known of. Every shooter that we've ever known has went around randomly shooting people. They had an agenda, but still their agenda was, I'm going to shoot as many people as I can, and or I'm going to shoot a particular a color of people. He went in there looking for the border police's children. That's who he killed. Look at all the names. Look at all the kids who passed away. Look at all of them. And you're gonna see if I mean, for the ones I've seen so far, because the number keeps going up. We thought it was 14, now it's 19, now it's 20. We don't know what I don't even know what the number stopped at. Right now I think it's 23 or something people dead. That's two adults, and I don't know. But the majority of, matter of fact, all the kids so far, I could be wrong, that I've seen, all Latinos. But we know that there were Latinos, whites, there's probably some black kids went there too. All Latinos. He had an agenda. And that agenda did not start off by this kid being angry and quiet. This kid was programmed. Listen, this is deeper than we think. This kid was programmed to do that. For one, how did he get a hold of two assault rifles? And then we're looking at the parents and we're going, why didn't y'all know? We're looking at the grandmother and we're going, when did you find out that he had assault rifles? This happened quickly, people. He got those two assault rifles back to back, like delivered, like boom, boom. He didn't get one last year and then get one this year. No, he got them suddenly. This whole thing happened, boom, suddenly, but he was pre-programmed. He was pre-programmed by something or someone, just like the kid with the manifesto. That set in, and then he etched out his plan. And he told us about some of it on the internet when he was taking pictures. Then when he got his weapons, he picked the day he was going to do it, and he went and he ran, boom, ran through a barricade, went into the school, went to one room that we know of so far, and barricaded himself in that room. I've never heard of a shooter doing this. They usually just go through the halls and shoot. He went to one room. He was looking for somebody or somebody's. That's a good chance that the people who sent him in there, what's going on? What's going on, brother? Now, it's a good chance that when we find out who the people were who sent him on his way, there's a good chance, and I told you guys before in that 2-hour video that I made when this first came out, that they all know each other. I told you this kid's family knows the families of the kids who got shot. How they know each other is going to come out. Yeah. Well, I wanted to do a short video about it. Something that other people will come and listen to as well, because the 2-hour videos, nobody else watches. You guys watch it, and then that's it. And then nobody watches it. So I lose money on that. So I wanted to do like a 40 to an hour, maybe a little less than that video. That way people can say, oh, okay, I'll listen to it. Other than that, all that information I talked about, only you guys enjoy. So I still need to make, this is one of my hustles. So, I still need to make some money off of it without asking for money. I'm in Texas, and in my daughter's elementary school, the doors are locked and there's security. Yeah, but how long has that been there? How long has that been there? See, now they're getting to the point where they're having armed guards with assault rifles, ex-military guys. These guys aren't carrying, 9mm and Glock. They have assault rifles. Since the beginning of the year, that's good. These guys have assault rifle, and they need to be visible. They need to also walk around. I think there should be more than one. I mean, one guy is good with an assault rifle. That's good. But I think that if somebody comes in the north end of the building, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think if somebody comes in the north end of the building and you don't know and locks himself in a room with a bunch of kids, there'll be dead kids before even you can get to them. You with all the weaponry you might have. So I think there should be two guards at each elementary school here in America. I don't care what school it is. I don't care if it's a parochial school. I don't care if it's a city school. I don't care if it's a private school. If there are kids in these schools, there should be two guards, and they should both have um, M16s or, well, AR-15s. M16 and AR-15s are comparable. I told you guys the difference. I'm not going to go through that again, but they should at least have AR-15s, and some point, even though it could be cold outside, very cold in some places, they should walk around that building. They should be visible. There should be a security car or SUV outside to let people know this place is secure. If you come in here with any type of violence, you want to get out of hand, you will be shot dead. If you threaten these kids in any shape, form, or fashion, if you have a knife in your hand, you're going to get shot in the face and nobody's going to feel sorry for you. If you come in here and you try to snatch one of these kids, which is a big thing now, you're going to get shot in the head and nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Not one person's going to cry for you. Not one. You're going to die right here today, right now. If you come up in here with the rah rah, if you come up in here and you want to start fighting, we might not kill you, but we might wound you. You want to come in here and get loud? There's going to be a problem. You're going to get handled. We're not going for any of it. None of us. You come in here, you act cordial. If your kid is a menace, we're kicking them out. That's it. Find somewhere else to go. We don't have time. Your kid wants to bully other kids. Goodbye. See you later. We're not dealing with no more riffraff because we don't want that kid or the kid who's being bullied to come up here with a nickel plate of 45 and start plugging kids and or getting ready to shoot your dumb ass, and then another kid gets caught in the crossfire. Now that actually did happen. Kid didn't get caught in the well, matter of fact, guess one did. This happened earlier this year. Kid was being picked on in high school. He said, "I had enough," and went in there and shot two kids. And they tried to blame this kid and saying, "Oh, this kid's a whatever." And then they start looking at what actually happened. This kid was being bullied, and the other kids were beating him with a gun. They struck him with a weapon. It's like, okay, keep that same energy. He went out, got himself a weapon, came back into school, popped him. Bang. I support that kid 100. You beat this kid, you jumped him, and you pistol whipped this kid. Oh, yeah, I'm with it 100%. He came in and shot you. Good for you. They lived, but you got shot and you deserved it. And that's just that. I'm for that kid and his parents 100%. Put that kid back in school, take those other two menaces and kick them out of school permanently. That's it. You cannot come back here and you cannot come on these grounds whatsoever. And if you go around that kid or that kid's house, you're going straight to jail. And you're going to be treated as an adult. We're not playing. You're not going to threaten this kid or his family. We're not playing. If you're found anywhere around his house or bothering him and his family, we're coming to your house and you're going straight to jail. That's it. And if your parents want to act up, they can take the ride too. We had enough. See, uh, uh, they killed this kid. Okay, fine, you killed him, but you have to understand, it probably would have been better if you wouldn't have killed this kid. Let's just get that out right now. It would have been better if we could have got this kid to talk. Now, of course, you can hang him later. But if we could have got more answers out of this kid, you would have found out exactly the whys and wherefores, and we wouldn't have to have an extent as an extensive, I don't know, investigation to find out exactly the whys and wherefore because he would have told you. And I guarantee you, those border police knew this kid. And they knew his family. And not only that, they knew their family in another country. This thing is drawn out, and it didn't start here in America. This is something else that's going on from another country here. This is violence that you're not used to seeing in this country this way. We're not used to seeing somebody target one person, of the same race other than black people, and then a bunch of people, boom, dead. We're not like this. I'm talking about kids. I'm talking about 10-year-olds. Okay, not 10-year-olds caught in the crossfire, deliberate 10-year-olds. I don't know anyone, like, I'm not used to seeing that right there. Like, that's a normal, nah. I'll read some of your comments. Yeah, okay. Queen, the principal should be like Joe Clark. Should be. Joe Clark wasn't having it. He was on point. I'll tell you what, don't put me in none of these schools because it'll be a whole new station. My principal was in the military and he had to square up with multiple teams 100%. Greg Outfit is full of it. The problem is not the guns, it's the people. I'm with you. It's Queen. Facts. Let him live and put him in General Pop. No. When I said we're not used to it, I knew somebody's going to mention Sandy Hook. When I say we're not used to, okay, let's take Sandy Hook. This was a troubled teen, right? It was a troubled teen, right? A troubled teen had a problem with his parents. Sort of like the same thing, I guess, here, but this guy didn't really have a problem with his parents. He had a problem with his grandparents. But okay, so it looks like it started in the home. Then the kid drives to Sandy Hook and he kills a bunch of, I don't even know what grade they were in, but probably around I think they were a little older, but I'm not sure. Nonetheless, the kids that he killed had no affiliation to this kid whatsoever. That's the difference between Sandy Hook and these kids. I'm telling you right now, as the investigation continues, this kid meant to kill the people he went to kill. In the Sandy Hook case, you guys can remind me because, I could be wrong. Did the kid walk through the school or did he go into one room and kill all those kids? You guys can let me know because you know better than I do. There is a stark difference between the Sandy Hook case and this case. Just because the kids were the same age, there's a big difference. This kid meant to do this. The Sandy Hook case, did this kid make any announcements that he was going to go off and start killing people? Was there any, I don't know, I haven't read the case in a long time. Was there any indication that he was going to go off the rails? Did he, what? Yeah. We're talking about Sandy Hook. Was there any indication that this kid was going to go off the rails in the Sandy Hook? What did he brag about having guns on social media? Because we know he had a bunch of guns, but how did he get them? Did he brag about it? Did he promote that he was going to do this? Because the kid that just did this, he promoted it. He was like, he said, wait until you hear the kid scream or some nonsense like that. Somebody's going to be sorry. He made an announcement that he was going to go and shoot these kids. I guarantee you he knew the kids' names who he shot. Let me make this clear one more time. This kid went into that school at Uvalde. He went into that school with 2 assault rifles. Let's remind ourselves about how many bullets are carried in an assault rifle. The ones that I know of, 27. Now, if you have drums, it can get up to 50 to 100. That's if you have drums. For what I know, if he just had clips, or excuse me, if he had magazines, you're looking at 27 bullets. That's what came with the M16 that I used to fire. 27 bullets. He shot how many people? 21? 21 people died, 19 kids, 2 adults. So he has 2 assault rifles. So we at least know that if they were full magazines, he's got 2 guns, he's got 27 and 27. If he barricaded himself into that building and nobody attacked him, then this guy has enough time to set off all 27 rounds in each magazine. I mean, am I wrong? Am I doing the math wrong here? You mean to tell me that there's nothing but 10th graders here and this kid, this 18-year-old with 2 assault rifles while these kids are hiding, he can't squeeze off 27 rounds, pick up his other weapon, squeeze off another 27 rounds? He already shot the teacher. Yeah, it's like he shot his mom. The Sandy Hook, yeah, he shot his mom. We know he had issues with his mom. But when he went to the school, did he go to one place in the school or did he walk through the school killing kids? Did he know any other kids that he shot? I strongly believe that this shooter knew. He knew some of those children. He knew it. He planned this. I don't think the Sandy Hook kid planned this. I think he just decided, I'm going to go ahead and shoot everybody in here. But this guy, he planned it. Are we talking Sandy Hook? His mom taught at Sandy Hook. The 18-year-old from the other day was triggered because his grandmother took his phone. Okay, so his grandmother took his phone. So, well, no. Okay. Okay, so when we're looking at the word triggered, somebody has to already have something that's inside of them. There has to be a storm already there. It's just that you were the last straw. You were the last person to set them off. You were the match, but you weren't the caveat. You weren't the sole reason why they went off. Taking his phone wasn't the sole reason why he killed 21 people. Not saying he didn't already. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's mental health. Oh, there's definitely mental health there. Let me see what you have to say. Salvador Ramos just wanted worldwide attention. He wanted to die a villain. He wanted to be infamous. Well, he died a villain. He's definitely infamous. He's going down in the history books in the worst way possible. But I still think there's a connection that is coming from across the water. I just do. I think that somebody programmed this kid to do this. And I think it's simply because they had a beef with the police. Okay, let's stop right there because I want to get into that. Whenever you shoot an officer, you shoot at them. Whenever you hit an officer, whenever you call an officer a name, whenever you flip an officer the bird, whenever you deny an officer access into your house, whenever you deny an officer access into your car, uh, and for women who officers have come on to them, whenever you and men who officers have come on to them, we see one just died. She was messing with Botham John, and Botham John was like, I'm finished. So she went and killed him. So this goes for both. Whenever you piss an officer off in the slightest, your life is at risk. Let's not act like it's not true. Your life is at risk. That's just the way it is. Now, because police are so intense here, I'll read your comments in a minute. I just want to get through this. Because the police are so intense, because they are on record being guerrillas in the street, being feared, using intimidation tactics, are known for killing people, known for this, the reaction to that is always the same energy. It's whether you're a good cop or not, we don't know. You all wear the same uniforms. But for the people who are done wrong, especially if social media sees it, there is somebody else who has a beef with the police because of what they saw, even if it didn't happen to them. They're like, that's not fair. That cop got away with it. Blah, blah, blah. Now they have a beef with any cop. Now just imagine if uh, uh, you knew where these police, where their children went to school, and you had access to that. I'm telling you that, listen, I could be going off the deep end and saying, well, this is all about the police. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm telling you, it's a possibility that I'm not. You can't walk into the police station and win. You're not going to do that. Once you have one beef with them in any shape, form, or fashion, they can come and raid your house and Breonna Taylor you in a heartbeat and get away with it. We know this. So, do you think that there is not a war against the police? Because I believe that there is. And that's what I'm saying. I hope I'm wrong. But I'm telling you, I think this kid punished those cops because that was the only way he could. That's what I believe. Okay, I'll read some of your comments. But there's a lot of comments, so you guys got to bear with me. I just wanted to get that out. Um, not seeing the mental issue possible, the worst possible way to get. Yes, the worst possible way to get clout, music and movies. Uh, no, I didn't think it was just for the phone. Star, I know that. I know that. You said triggered. So, yeah. Let's kill him before he shot the gun. Yeah, you said triggered. So I was listen, whenever you guys say something, I try to expound on what you're saying to bring the conversation, to bring what you're saying to everybody with my point of view. So don't get, offended, and I'm not saying you got offended, but just understand that that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make the conversation as if you guys were live with me and sitting right here or on Zoom or something and can give your opinion as freely as that. And then I can have a retort. So that's what I'm kind of doing. Blue Lives Matter. Listen, I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying that this is a scary development in the war that is against them. Okay, here's the way I'm looking at this as far as the police are concerned, because we know there are good cops out there, and we know that there are terrible cops out there. We know that there are cops who abuse their power And that whole Breonna Taylor case is just, I mean, when you hear about those guys and the stuff that they were doing, the women that they were, taking advantage of sexually, like these guys were terrible, terrible guys on the police force. And the police force wasn't even, they investigated them because of our allegations, and it was the weakest investigation you ever seen. Just look it up on YouTube. Like these guys are notorious for doing crazy stuff. Notorious. Like everybody knows they're terrible police, but they still got their jobs, or they get their pensions. It's like, why are these people not locked up with the same people you lock up for stealing a sandwich? You locked a man up for 50 years for stealing a sandwich because he was hungry, but these guys can go and brutally murder somebody in the middle of the night in the wrong house, and nothing. And the only crime that you said they committed was because a bullet went through the wall, and the people who lived in the apartment next to them were a white couple, but there were also bullets that went through another wall, and the people who lived next to them were black people, and there were no file charges for that. That was it. And then you got acquitted on that. Nah. Listen, when I've said this over and over and over, you cannot murder. The murder is different than any other crime because you've spilt innocent blood. You cannot, not one human on the planet is getting away with anything. You cannot spill innocent blood and think that it will not come back to you. Somebody's going to pay for that. The bill will come due. I don't care who you think you are. It will happen. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect somebody around you. It's going to affect somebody in your family. You're going to get hit with it, and you're going to know it's your fault. When they killed that kid and the kid who was selling CDs, and they shot him, and just the way they killed him, I said, you know what? Sterling, when they killed Alton Sterling, I was so pissed. I said, there's going to be blood. And what happened? A black Marine got himself a high-powered rifle, came to town, and what'd he do? He wrote a manifesto. He wrote a letter saying, I'm going after the cops, blah, 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 because of what they did to Alton Sterling. Do you think he knew Alton Sterling? You think he was his family member? He didn't know Alton Sterling, but he saw what the cops did to him, and they got away with it. You didn't punish them. You didn't give them a slap on the hand. You paid them. They went on vacation with our money. And they said they was going to kill him before they even got to the scene. You think you're not going to pay for that? You're going to pay for that. That man was innocent. He did nothing but sell CDs. That's what he did. And he died with his arms out. They blew his chest away. No, you're going to pay for it. And that's what I think is happening. I think chickens are coming home to roost. Now, I could be wrong. Or I could be right. I could be looking into this thing going, nah, this is just, I'm overreaching. I'm just reaching. That kid didn't know that those children in there were the children of border police. He couldn't have known that. No way that kid couldn't have known every child that he shot. It's just no way that kid who is in a small town, everybody in town knows each other. He probably got relatives that goes to that school. This kid goes to the local high school, which probably ain't far from it. There's no way that this kid would have known exactly what room to go into and whose kid was whose. Your father so-and-so. Your father so-and-so. Your father. Listen to what the police said. The police officers said that the ones who had children in that school ran into the school looking for their kids. This is bigger than what we think, regardless of my opinion. And now, remember when you guys were saying COVID wasn't real? And I said, but the reaction is, even if I'm wrong, the reaction to what he did is going to be real. You can't do nothing to a police officer without them going ballistic. This has spread all across America. And you better believe every cop who has a child in school, you better believe that they're going to be on edge because the people who don't like them have seen the same thing. And I'm telling you, I'm not trying to promote nothing. I don't want it to happen. I'm just telling you what people are seeing. And I'm hoping none of this happens. So don't come to me and like I promoted it. None of you, because that's not what's happening. What's happening is what happened and how people are reading what happened. And that's just that. I'll read some of your comments. Cops are generally some of the nicest. Well, I got dents in my head from police. So, was he in trouble with the law? I don't think he was. I don't think he was in trouble with the law. Uh, no, I didn't get offended. I didn't think you did, but this was for everyone. You're usually the only person here, but today we have other people that are here. I was just letting you know I agree with what you said because I felt the same way. Cool. A black man and got arrested recently because he watered his neighbor's he watered his neighbor's flowers. You know, there was a mass shooting with a black guy about a week ago during the same time that white guy went out and shot all those black people. But he went and he was shooting up Asians. Yeah, I think he shot 3 people. Uh, you are aged you're aged extremely well for someone born in the 60s. Thank you very much. Uh, I laugh too. Yeah, so like I said, it's not what we think is real, it's the reaction to what we think it's real. And that's what's happening. The reaction to this is going to be detrimental to a lot of innocent people because they're going to get caught in the crossfire of who the police think are trying to harm them and their families and who has nothing to do with it. And we've seen this with the Christopher Dorn case where they went out and shot 2 women who had a truck that looked like his. We've seen this with the case recently where the police officer went into an airport and shot a black guy, a military black guy, young dude, shot and killed him uh, off of wrong information. And, you know, seeing, oh, this must be the guy. Boom, shoots and kills this guy, and nothing was done. You shot an innocent man. What color of his skin doesn't matter. His blood is red, and you're going to pay for that. And everybody knows what you did. We know it was you. We know your name. You went in there, you shot this guy, and the judge let that go. We know that. That blood is on your hands. You think you think you can kill somebody and get away with it. Nobody's getting away with anything. Nobody. The white man is a weakling. It's over for him. No getting by this. Well, here's what I can say about the white man being weak. I can say that I don't look at the white man as a weak person or weak race. They have the largest and most dangerous army on the planet. They control the finances of the planet. And just with those 2 things, there's nothing weak about that. What I can say is emotionally, they are in a steep decline because of what they see and what they perceive to be a threat. They can look at the numbers and look at the 2% loss in birth rate of the white race just here in America, and then look at the large number of Hispanics that have crossed the border just this year, and then look at the high birth rate of the African American and or African people, and which they've been trying to quell since they knew about us. This is something they cannot stop, and they've tried in every kind of way to exterminate us and our children in every kind of way. But as long as we're here, there's listen, our women are able to have more babies than your women. That's just that. And this doesn't mean that, oh, some white guy can start having a bunch of children. No, doesn't work like that. Once the black egg and black seed get together, there is potential for 15 children to come up out of this woman. There's just the potential. Now we know that there are some white families who have a lot of children, but with the statistical look at everything, black people have statistically more children than white people do. This is a fear that they have. So listen, they're always going to have control over the bombs. That's their thing. War has been their thing since the Bible days. Oh, okay, since Alexander the Great and his children. Okay, because that's who you're dealing with. You're dealing with Alexander the Great and his children, his offspring. Okay, all right. We're not. Let's get this straight. Those are the people who we're dealing with. His crazy sons who went out and kept warring. All right. Alexander the Great was a genius when it comes to war, but even his people that marched with him and fought all these wars, one day they said, we're done fighting. They didn't want to fight anymore. Okay. But his children, who has his blood, said, no, we're going to still fight. And, we got this constant war, just constant war. That's where it comes from. Nonetheless, so yeah. So do I believe that there are weak people? No, because God made them the way they are. He made them a warlike race. He needed them to be like that. But what I can say is these people have developed ways to destroy the planet. And, we've talked about some of these weapons. And I'm going to tell you this planet does not belong to them. And the last time there was a race of beings who had the potential to destroy the planet, God wiped them out in a day. Keep messing around if you want to, but you're going to reach, your apex, and then it's going to be a problem for all of us. So, yeah, I don't think that they're weak. I just think that they know that they're in a steep decline when it comes to just the population itself. And listen, if things just naturally go the way that they're going now, and if they can't get out of this 2% deficit in the birth rate, when we're looking at just naturally, we're not counting wars that they love to start and, stay in. We're just talking about naturally. Even Elon Musk was talking about how just the Asian population, he said the Asian population is going to be double. He said it's going to be double. It's going to double their numbers. That's just the Asian population. So, yeah, they're going to be twice more than the European population. You got to think about that. They know this. They know that melanated people, whether it's a light hue or a dark hue, is going to eventually overtake the population of the planet. And it's going to be done naturally. It's going to be done. That's just that. And listen, even if they did drop bombs and try to wipe everybody out, it wouldn't be good for them. They can hide in their bunkers all they want, but if their children can't have children, if the children that they have grow up to adult age and they can't have but one child each, maybe two, hopefully three, they're gonna lose. It's gonna be all over for them. And this isn't gonna take 100 years to do. Like, it's very prevalent right now. Very prevalent. So that's where their fear is coming from. And it is a reality. This is what's making a lot of them come out and think that they're gonna slow it down by killing black people. We're not even close to your problem. We're not close. The Asians are more close to your problem than anything because, for one, they can match your stride economically. They are the biggest landlords on the planet. The biggest one. They own Australia, America, parts of Africa. I mean, yeah, this is why Donald Trump had a big issue with them, with China in particularly. And he said, listen, China will import a car into America and they will pay 2% import tax. They said, and he was talking about what Elon Musk was talking about. He said, when we import cars into China, we pay 25%. Now, one of the, I forgot which guy it was, is a news reporter, was talking about why don't we call COVID by, why don't we call it the Wuhan virus? It came out of Wuhan. But why don't we call it the Wuhan virus? We call everything that comes from the place it comes from the virus. The Ebola virus, the Ebola River, the Zika virus, the Zika River or whatever it is, the West Nile. Why don't we call every virus what it is? Because we don't want to offend China. Because we owe them trillions of dollars. It is what it is. They're your biggest threat. We're not. Uh anyway, my hour is almost up. But you guys got any questions for me before I get on up out of here? But I just wanted to touch on that. I think it's gonna be I think the police are gonna ramp up their protection of their families and we're gonna get caught in the crossfire. That's what I think. And I can't blame them for that. Um, Regardless if this kid planned on going after these police and their children, he shot their children. He shot and killed their children. And that's what it is. Whether it was an accident or not, you killed a cop's child. So, if any of you guys got anything for me before I go? And if you want me to talk about this again, maybe a week from now, I'll do that. I don't have an issue with that. To see if more information comes out. But another thing, I don't scour the information or scour the internet for information. I look at the news every day, look at different things in the news, and if I see something that makes me think I'm on the right path, then I'll talk about it. But if you guys follow this story, you're probably going to know more about it than I do. So if you just want to hear my opinion on it, I'll give you that. But as far as the facts are concerned, you're probably going to know more about the facts than I do because I don't concentrate on just one story. Um, is that? Let me see if you guys are said anything else. Yeah, but all right. I'm gonna come on probably a few minutes uh after I grab me some chicken or something, and I'm gonna do my whole music thing, help me relax, and very few of you come by for that. But yeah, so that's just what I think, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping the police don't start shooting innocent people even more than what they already have. And another thing that I'm hoping is I'm hoping the police get the message. I'm hoping they understand the potential behind what happened. And I hope they protect their children, but I hope they don't do typical police stuff and hurt people who have nothing to do with anything and then cry and say, "Oh, I thought he was going to hurt my kid," blah, 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 when it's just obvious that wasn't going to happen. Because the more people you kill and the more we see it, the more we're not rooting for you. We can't sympathize with you. We don't, we have no hope for the judicial system that lets this type of thing go. We don't, we're not looking at all the police and going, all police are good. Dude, that's no longer the narrative. You don't listen. There are videos showing police just driving by neighborhoods and kids running from the cops. Like when they see a cop car, they're ducking behind garbage cans. Kids, 6, 7 years old, playing right there on their front yards or whatever. When they see a cop car, they're running. And so you have this campaign of cops getting out the car and trying to play basketball with kids. Listen, the more people you shoot in the back of the head, the more you're hurting your whole campaign to look good. We don't trust you. We don't trust you around our kids. We don't want you talking to our kids. We don't want you touching our kids. We don't trust you. When you come into our neighborhood, you are a threat. And that's just that. We're not looking at you going, "Oh, I feel safe. The cops are here." If we didn't call you, we do not feel safe. We've seen a lot of criminal activity that the police have done. And there's no one in their right mind going, "Oh, I feel complete." Not even white people. Not even white people are going, every cop is a good no, because a lot of them have lost people to rogue police and they were defended. You can't defend bad cops and expect everybody to still have 100% trust and belief in it. You cannot do it. You defend the good cops. That's who you protect. And you protect them the best way you can. You can't defend a cop who goes into a house, raids a house, and shoots a 15-year-old kid. And then the lawyer says, "Oh, he slipped and his finger hit the trigger and blah, blah, blah." This happened in Chicago. You can't defend a cop who goes and shoots a mother who you thought she was going to have a sawed off shotgun because you seen it in an old video that she had a shotgun, which is legal to have. But what you did was this woman did not have I think a license plate. So when you stopped her, for one, you went inside of her car, you took the keys out of her car, which you shouldn't have done that. She had two kids in the back there, and she was explaining to you why she didn't have a license. She was one of them sovereign people. She was explaining that to you. She was like, "You guys are just a bunch of gang members." She was trying to explain the whole thing to you, and you were acting very gang member ish instead of taking it to the judicial system, which you should have done. So you put a warrant out for this chick's arrest. She wanted to fight the warrant, she wanted to fight you in the court system. You showed up to her house, kicked in her door, and you shot her in front of her two kids. And then you had the nerve to shoot her 4-year-old boy. And when the people came to the hospital, her family members, to see the child, you were like, "No, you can't see the child. You can't talk to the child." I'm sorry. This is a 4-year-old. You shot the mother at point blank range in front of her children. Do you think this 4-year-old is going to grow up and say, I trust all cops? Oh, I love the police. When they come around, I feel totally safe. But I just, I have this very, vivid memory of them killing my mother and my mother being dead right in front of me and there being white police who shot her. And then they shot me at 4 years old. This happened in, I want to say Chicago, but I'm not sure. But this incident really did happen. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know if this shooter did it on purpose, but I know that's what he did. And I'm hoping that everything calms down. I'm hoping that, you know, the evil that is in this world doesn't grow to a fever pitch because there's going to be more dead kids in the street. No, no one can go out and commit this much atrocity without backlash. Even if you do it in secret, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't shed innocent blood like that. You can't hide behind a judicial system and the judge and say, well, Tamir Rice, hey, he had a weapon, didn't he? He was sitting all by himself, broad daylight in the park. And this 13-year-old boy had a weapon, but it turned out it was a BB gun, which is totally legal for a child to have. But he was by himself. And the police were called on him in Cleveland, Ohio. And they rolled right up next to him. They got out the car, and within 5 seconds, they shot and killed him. And then you acquitted the police. You didn't get them for manslaughter. You didn't get them for murder one. You didn't even get them for assault with a deadly weapon. Absolutely nothing. And then when it went to court again to the highest bidder, the government said they're not going to bring charges against his killer because he wasn't acting willful. The police officer did not act willful. Let's try to dissect that. Willful, meaning he did it on purpose, meaning he did not have intentions on driving off the curve, on the curve, through the grass, up to the mezzanine where Tamir Rice was sitting by himself, jump out the car, grab his gun, and shoot this kid. He didn't do that on purpose. That was a mistake. What he meant to do was drive off the road on the curb, through the grass to the mezzanine, and say, you know, drop your weapon. That's what he meant to do. Or he meant to park his car and approach Tamir Rice with his gun drawn, him and his partner, because it was two of them, and walk up to the grass with the guns drawn and say, drop the weapon, which would have been more policey. And then Tamir drops the weapon, get down on the ground. He gets down on the ground, crosses his leg, hands is over his head, and then they put his hands behind his back, put him in handcuffs, and then find out that the weapon was just a BB gun. Call his parents, and Tamir Rice goes home. No harm, no foul. That would have been more a story that could be digested, but that's not what happened. He shot a 13-year-old boy because he claimed he thought he had a gun. It was a Three Musketeer candy bar. See, this type of stuff here is what fuels the war. This is what has people in an uproar. This is what makes people go, you guys are vicious. You guys have no love. You guys are not here to protect us. You're not here to help us. And violence is met with violence. We all know these stories because they're on social media and you want them to be on social media. That's what I'm saying. I hope the police start changing. I hope they don't look at this and go, we're going to war. We're going to use our brand new weaponry that we have. They got this sound machine that, will bust your whole eardrums. They got all kind of warfare for people who are, armed with pea shooters. The average person is not walking around going, yeah, I'm ready to go to war. And they have a whole stockpile. Not the average person. The average person probably doesn't even own a weapon. Average person wants to, get on a bus, cuss, and, go to work and come home. That's what the average person is. We don't have a warlike state of mind. But look at the stockpile of weapons the police have against you. Hey, what's going on, Tiff? And the police use against you. Look at how many show up just for nothing. No, you and look, we know that there are vicious criminals in the streets, but a lot of them y'all know about. And then you have the nerve to let some of them go, and then they go out and commit more crime. Look at that girl that they found at the police station dead. You think that's going to go unpunished? No, because this is a spiritual world that we live in. They're the ones who run this. They're going to send somebody to somebody about what happened to that girl. I guarantee you, somebody's going to pay for that. Or that girl in New York that they cut up. They cut that black woman up in pieces. You think you're hiding? You think nobody knows it was you who did that? No, it's not how this goes. It gets found out. Nobody's getting away with anything. It gets found out. These judges who will not convict these, the bad police. Them too. Look what happened to that one woman. She is a judge. Somebody came to her house as a delivery person. The dad answered the door, bang, killed him immediately and shot the son. Yeah, that type of energy. Nobody's getting away with anything. You just can't commit heinous crimes and think you're just going to walk around like you. That Michael Brown case, you shot him 11 times, and one of them was through the eye while he was on his knees with his hands up. You cannot tell me that Michael Brown was a threat. And then you left his body in the street for 4 hours. You wouldn't even let the ambulance come and get him. The bill's it's gonna come due. Spirits don't play that. And then you try to show us where he was stealing, black amounts? How much are they? $1 each? He was 18 years old. He was a big kid. You told him to get out the street, and he was like, no, I'm not going to get out the street. Then when he decided to get out the street, you ran up on him. You hit him with your car, and you tried to say you two struggled. There wasn't a struggle. You get out the car, he concedes. He's like, okay, it's a cop, whatever. Okay, put him in handcuffs and take him in for simple assault. Case closed. We would have been in an uproar about that, but so what? Case closed. Simple assault, not a big deal. He's 18, boom. Get him for 6 months. Sentence him, simple assault, for 2 years. Put him in jail for 6 months and give him a 1.5 year probation. Case closed. No, you shoot him 11 times. And you shoot him through the eye, meaning he was looking up at you, meaning this was probably the first shot you took. The first shot. Let me get this straight. Michael Brown was probably as tall as you are. He was huge. So he was looking at you eye to eye. You didn't raise your weapon and then bang, shoot him in the face. And then he fell to his knees and put his hands up. That's not what happened. He fell to his knees. He put his hands up. You drew your weapon and you shot him downwards in the eye. And then you kept shooting him. So I don't know anybody who has been shot in the eye and was still fighting or whatever you thought he was doing while he was on his knees with his hands up. Explain that. But can forensics explain that? How was he a threat to you while he was on his knees with his hands up? He wasn't. How was he still a threat when you shot him in the eye and a bullet was lodged in his head and he's laying there and then you kept shooting him? He wasn't. How was he not allowed any care whatsoever, which is protocol after a gunshot? He wasn't allowed any care. He laid there for 4 hours. They let it be known. This is what happens. And then you quit Darren Wilson? You think Darren Wilson got away with that? He didn't get away with that. He's just getting by. Only thing you did was fire him. And then, after you fired him, he made a GoFundMe. He got $250,000 on his GoFundMe. $250,000. Just drink that in. Shortly after that, because people saw that he came up $250,000. His pension wasn't even that much. And that's what he wanted. He wanted to get his pension. They was like, no, you're no longer an officer. You were fired. He was like, bet. Made a GoFundMe, boom, 250 grand, $250,000, boom, just like that, right? Other officers saw this. How many people do you think got shot just because of what they saw? How many people do you think got shot and then went on vacation? And then the officer went on vacation. Let me explain something to you. Shortly after the Michael Brown case, there was another officer. I forgot what city he was in. What this genius did was, he was a white male, young in his 20s. He went and staged a shooting. He shot his own vehicle. Bam, bam, bam. Put holes in it, and then he shot himself. Called for backup. Once they got there, of course, they saw no other shooter. He made up this whole story. Then they start dissecting what he was saying and found out that it was a complete lie. Why do you think he did that? Why do you think he ruined his career? Because of what he saw with Darren Wilson. There is a huge payout for these officers when they get into officer-involved shootings. And then they go on vacation. Vacation is what I called it, but they go on, what's it called again? Administrative leave. Tell me I'm wrong. Anyways, that's my time, you guys. Hope everybody's doing all right. God bless you all. I'll be back on, like I said, in a few minutes. Give me some drink here. I'm just going to make some music when I get back. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye.